the future of the Hurriyat movement and what is going on right now within the Hurriyat leadership.
Current freedom struggle which is going on in Kashmir, India tried each and everything. They wanted to implement their Hindutva agenda in Kashmir.
Can you explain some of the key features of the Indian government's political strategy and political objectives within Indian occupied Kashmir?
After the results of the elections came, we could see that people of Kashmir voted for the lesser evil. All the political leadership of Kashmir, which represents the sentiments of the people of Kashmir, that is behind the bars.
The future of any political leader in Kashmir depends upon whether he or she stands with the sentiments of the people of Kashmir or he stands with the Indian government. There are reports that some of the imprisoned leaders like Yasin Malik, like Asian Drabi, like Shabir Shah, they have also been engaged by the Indian intelligence agency in order to woo them. What do you think is their political future? Do you think they are likely to consider these Indian offers?
I don't think there will be any offer will be accepted by the top leadership in Kashmir.
So in this environment, what is your view about the significance of Kashmir issue for international peace and security?
Peace in the region goes through Kashmir. If you invest in the peace in Kashmir, you will have the peace in Afghanistan. You will have peace beyond Afghanistan also.
Tell me, what is the current state of international community's concern towards Kashmir?
This mantra has not been taken well by the West. Even West is not aligning itself with the India's these claims of normalcy, the claims of elections, the claims of the development and all that. They do not align themselves with the Indian claims.
Viewers, very warm welcome to another episode of the We News English program Perspectives, in which we bring before you informed perspectives from around the world affecting some of the most important issues that influence world politics, security, and economy. Viewers, we have recently heard some major developments in the Kashmir region because some reports indicate that there have been some major political developments in the Indian occupied Kashmir. So in order to understand the nature and significance of these political dynamics within the Indian occupied Kashmir after Mr. Modi returned to power, we are joined today by a leading authority on the Kashmir affairs, Mr. Altaf Hussain Wani, who is the chairman of Kashmir Institute of International Relations and a leading voice around the world, a very respected Kashmiri activist who hails from Kupwara in Indian occupied Kashmir and is a frequent speaker in United Nations and some of the most influential international bodies that deal with the Kashmir issue in different manner and ways, including the UN Human Rights Commission, Geneva, and the UN headquarters in New York. And he has been part of the struggle for more than 3 decades. So very warm welcome, Mr. Wani, on today's program.
Thank you very much, sir, for having me.
Mr. Wani, we recently heard some major developments taking place in the political dynamics of Indian occupied Kashmir. And some reports state that the Hurriyat leadership is facing some major challenges, both internally and externally. And there are reports that there are some forward bloc being formed and some of the Kashmiri Hurriyat leaders are being wooed and lured by the Indian government and state. So basically, we want to learn from you today in this program about the future of the Hurriyat movement and what is going on right now within the Hurriyat leadership before we move to the other aspects of the issue.
Thank you, sir, for asking this important question, which is very much debated these days in our circles also. But before going, what will be the future of the Hurriyat conference? I'll tell you one thing on the Kashmir resistance, which is there. It is inbuilt in the people of Kashmir. It's not because of the leadership of any of the leaders that people of Kashmir are with the moment. People are with the moment, with the leader because he is in the moment. Once he shuns the moment, the people are not with him. You can take the example of Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah. Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah was the towering leader of Kashmir. When he voiced his voice against the oppression of Maharaja of Kashmir, so people of Kashmir followed him. But as soon as he fell prey to the Indian domain, then the people of Kashmir did not like him anymore. And the same is the case with other leaders who align with the Indian government. At present, when we see the last 35 years with this current freedom struggle which is going on in Kashmir, India tried each and everything. But most recently, you have seen the BJP when came into the power, they came to Kashmir with a political agenda. The political agenda of BJP is to have their foot in Kashmir Valley, especially, and also in the areas which are the Muslim-dominated areas in Jammu and other places. They wanted to implement their Hindutva agenda in Kashmir, and to get that foot, they did different things in Kashmir. There were some elections for the district development councillors period to this, which were held before. But looking at those after this abrogation of Article 370 and 35A.
But Mr. Wani, let me interrupt you to briefly ask the question that we hear a lot about the human rights violations, the atrocities, the military brutalities within Indian occupied Kashmir. But not much is known understood about the political strategy of basically Mr. Modi towards Indian occupied Kashmir. Can you explain some of the key features of the Indian government's political strategy and political objectives within Indian occupied Kashmir?
Yeah, I was coming to that BJP's main objective was the political maneuvering in Kashmir, to have their foot in Kashmir, to project it as people of Kashmir have accepted the decisions of the BJP government, that of abrogation of Article 370, dismantling the state, as they projected as this Article 370 was basically a hurdle in the development of Kashmir. This was a hurdle in many of the things for this. And this was the reason for even the freedom movement in Kashmir. If that would have not been there would have not been a freedom movement in Kashmir. This is what the BJP's political motive was, and which motive is. But they tested the waters during the parliament elections in Kashmir. During the parliament elections, they saw that BJP could not fare well in Kashmir. They could not do any thing extraordinary besides doing what they could do through demographic changes, what they could do through the delimitations of assembly segments and all that. But doing all that, they could not achieve their political agenda at that time. And then because of the Supreme Court's orders, they were forced to have the assembly elections in the Jammu and Kashmir, which were held. And again, we could see that despite the Modi himself and his whole team came to Kashmir for election campaign, during that campaign, they tried their best to win the hearts of the people of Kashmir, to project to the international audience that there is peace in Kashmir, and the people of Kashmir have welcomed the decision of the Indian government. But after the results of the elections came, we could see that people of Kashmir voted for the lesser evil. They did not vote for the BJP. Voting was must for the people of Kashmir, because at that time they wanted to keep away the BJP, RSS from their political agenda. So they did it. They voted for the lesser evil, that is for their national conference, which national conference at that time during the elections and after the elections, they said that that they are going to restore the Article 370 and they want the solution of the problem of Kashmir. The Indian government will have to talk to the people of Kashmir and to the Pakistan for the resolution of Kashmir. This was their motive. But we know at that time also, people in Kashmir know that NC was never going to abide by its promises. But even then, they voted for them in order to keep the BJP's political agenda out of Kashmir. And when the BJP saw this, and now as the things are moving on, that assembly that has no power, there is pressure mounting on the BJP, also on the Umar Abdullah and others, that what for these elections were held in Kashmir if this assembly has no powers, if they cannot do anything, and all the powers are vested in the lieutenant governor, which is appointed by the New Delhi. So what BJP has doing is they have decided to have the panchayat elections in Kashmir in May, somewhere in May, in the middle of May, June, there will be panchayat elections in Kashmir. And for that purpose, those panchayat elections are always held on non-party basis. There is no party base in those elections. And in these elections, then we see there is a wear and tear in political parties. Because there are lots of people who want to contest these elections. To some, the local MLA supports, to some not. So they change their loyalties to some other. Here, BJP has a plan. To my understanding, here BJP has a huge plan, a big plan in their mind. But they want to use all those people who will deflect from National Conference or PDP or other local political parties. They will use all their power and all their monetary power and also the power of the lieutenant governor and others in order to support those people so that they can get a grassroots level. Then those people will join BJP and they will have a grassroots level workforce in Jammu and Kashmir, because all the financial powers are in the central government, in the Indian government, so they can help them and they could work there and they could produce a parallel government to the Umar Abdullah and others who want to restoration of Article 370 or they want restoration of autonomy and all that. So they will have a parallel government to them at the grassroots level, and that grassroots level government will be provided funds by the Indian government to do all that, and thereby the people will say, okay, we are having all these works, so we don't want that Umar Abdullah government should have powers, or not. We are least bothered for that. This is a plan in BJP's mind, which I could see. And for that purpose, they need now what they had promised earlier. They had said that in 2023 will be the Hurriyat free Kashmir. This was their first motto. The 2023 will be Hurriyat free Kashmir. They did everything. They put all the political leaders behind the bars. Each and everything what they have done to the Kashmir. But still then, the Hurriyat is there. The sentiment of Hurriyat persists in Kashmir. That is everywhere. That they feel it is present everywhere. Because even at this time, they see that when people voted for NC or their opposition, it was because of the Hurriyat. Hurriyat did not want BJP to come into power. Hurriyat did not want the BJP should take lead in Kashmir. So it was the sentiment of Hurriyat which defeated the BJP. Now BJP has come with another plan before these parliament elections, as we saw Amit Shah speaking in the Rajya Sabha, responding to a question last Friday, and after that we could see a different ball game happening in Indian occupied Kashmir. He said that we have almost done away with the Hurriyat. We have curtailed each and everything in Kashmir. There is no more freedom struggle in Kashmir, what they call terrorism in Kashmir. That they have curtailed this, and everything has come down. And there is all those people will have to join the mainstream politics. So this was the Amit Shah's, in a way, a reply to a question in the Indian Parliament in the Rajya Sabha. But soon after that, we could see that some of the Hurriyat leaders who were in a way, those people were not so much important in the Hurriyat ranks. They were, you may call it, the third or fourth rank leaders. They were rounded up, and they have rounded up each and everyone. They have told them that they have an affidavit. You have to sign this affidavit. Otherwise, your property will be confiscated. You will be put behind the bars. You will have to face the consequences. You have to write on this, sign this affidavit that I have parted my ways from the Hurriyat and I have joined the mainstream politics and I abide by the Constitution of India. That is what they have given to each and everyone to sign on it. And there are people have their own weakness also. They have their strong points also. They got some of them to this submission, and then this Amit Shah started tweeting on it. Now we have the people from the mainstream Hurriyat coming to the mainstream politics of India and abiding by the Constitution of India. But you could see all the political leadership of Kashmir, which represents the sentiments of the people of Kashmir, that is behind the bars. All you have banned all the Hurriyat parties in Kashmir. They have been banned. Their offices have been closed, and each and every leader is either in jail or is in house arrest. You have just yesterday registered an FIR against one of the banned outfit which they outfitted most recently, the Hurriyat outfit, Muslima Ithadul Muslimin of Maulana Masroor Abbasi. And likewise, there have been FIRs against Mirwais Umar Farooq for having some speech and all that. So they are trying to put this political pressure in a way sophisticated. They are using the other way on one militarized military suppression which they used for past 35 years, but they tried also to do this sophisticated surveillance and each and everything is done, and on these basis they had tried to create this. There is no forward block in Hurriyat. I tell you honestly, there can be no forward block in Hurriyat. There is no forward block in Hurriyat, and we have seen in past also those who have any of the softness towards India, or they showed any softness in order to have some peaceful resolution of the Kashmir issue. Even at that time, those people were not supported by the people of Kashmir in general. There is a realization in
But
Kashmir that the
but
problem of Kashmir.
but let me
Yes.
ask you, Mr. Wani, that as you pointed out, that the Hurriyat leadership is under intense pressure from the Modi government and from their intelligence agencies to give up the freedom struggle. And you mentioned a very important point that the future of any political leader in Kashmir depends upon whether he or she stands with the sentiments of the people of Kashmir or he stands with the Indian government. And those who chose to join Indian government and betray the Kashmiri people and their freedom struggle also lost in terms of their political support from the Kashmiri people. And only those people who stood by and represented, like Syed Ali Gilani, who the sentiments of the Kashmiri people continue to enjoy popular support and political base within Indian occupied Kashmir. There are reports that some of the imprisoned leaders like Yasin Malik, like Asian Drabi, like Shabir Shah, they have also been engaged by the Indian intelligence agency in order to woo them. What do you think is their political future? Do you think they are likely to consider these Indian offers?
I don't think any of the incarcerated leaders will think about any of the Indian what offer India has to make, if India has any offer to make to them, because those people have spent all their lives. The people you said, Shabir Ahmed Shah has been in the jail for of his 68 years. He has spent almost 40 years in jail. Likewise, Yasin Malik, he is in jail for years now, and before also he has suffered a lot because of it. And likewise, Masarat Alam Bhatt, you may Naeem Khan, or you talk of about Asya Indrabiji and others. everybody who is in Delhi's Tihar jail or in different jails in India or in Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir, they have spent their whole life for this cause. They have not given anything to submission to India. If they have to give, they could have given this in their younger age. In their young age, they could have done something. But they are committed to this. To me, none of those leaders is going to give up, and they will continue their struggle. As long as they continue, they will remain in the hearts of the people of Kashmir. That's what they also know. That's what the people of Kashmir know. And that's what the India knows. That's why India tries to woo them. India is trying to had launched a witch hunt in Kashmir against Hurriyat leaders. It's because of that they want once a leader, once an activist who says, even under pressure, when he says something like that, he has given up the struggle for freedom, struggle for self-determination. He remains no more in the hearts of the people of Kashmir. He has no more any political space in Kashmir. I will give you one small reason of the recent past. Engineer Rashid, a man who used to speak against the Indians and vocal voice was he. In parliament elections, he defeated Umar Abdullah. He defeated Sajjad Ghani Lone because people thought that he is against the Indian administration, he is against the Indian occupation, and Sajjad and Umar Abdullah, they are part of the that Indian mechanization. So they voted for Engineer Rashid. But once the Engineer Rashid came out in assembly elections, the people smelled that some of the candidates of the Engineer Rashid's party belong to the Indian intelligence agencies, so we could not see Engineer Rashid there in the assembly elections. People then rejected him, his party, they rejected the whole party in assembly elections. So people are very witty. People of Kashmir, they know the art of politics. They know general public knows the art of politics. They know the art. They have been dealing with the India for last 77 years. So I don't think there will be any offer will be accepted by the top leadership in Kashmir. Even most recently, there were talks about Mirwais Umar Farooq. Why is in Delhi? Why did he come back from Delhi and all? We had lots of talks about that. But then we saw that Mirwais' own party was banned by the Delhi. If Mirwais had accepted something of the Delhi, then they would have not banned his own organization. They would have not banned the Ummat Muslim of Maulana Abbas Ansari, Masroor Abbas Ansari. So I don't think there will be any thing like that from the top leadership of Hurriyat. India will never be able to any of the top leadership, neither Professor Ghani Bhatt, who is still alive, none of them will be in these offers, except for those who are weaker in a way because there is a lot of pressure of them. They are not that much known, and the people at that time sometimes see that when the top leadership in jail, they could not do anything. So we should do this and we should do that, and they say we are doing it for the sake of and because of the pressures and all that. But as soon as anybody is doing this, he doesn't find any space in Kashmir. We have seen in past also, we have seen in most recently also, and I don't think there is any change in the minds of the people of Kashmir when it comes to their freedom struggle.
Thank you, Mr. Wani. You've recently returned from Geneva, and you've been a frequent speaker at UN Human Rights Council and also at the United Nations. So tell me, what is the current state of international community's concern towards Kashmir? We have witnessed that since the arrival of the Trump administration, there is a global concern that the international institutions are becoming weak and multilateral diplomacy is not very effective. The world seems to be getting more polarized, and Europe is feeling the heat, Europe and Canada from the US. So in such an environment, what are the challenges for people like you to raise the Kashmir issue and but also warn the world that the stakes in Kashmir are much higher than what the people in Gaza are facing? We heard that almost 50,000 people have been slaughtered in Gaza in the last 1.5 years. But almost double that much number have been the level of sacrifices which the Kashmiris have made in the last 35 years. More than 100,000 Kashmiris have sacrificed their life. And here there are three nuclear powers surrounding the disputed territory of Kashmir. So and the US and Chinese tensions are also increasing. So in this environment, what is your view about the significance of Kashmir issue for international peace and security? Your thoughts on that?
You see, for us, as we all know, you're a better judge of the international security, and you deal with that. You know how important Kashmir is for the international peace and security, especially when it is surrounded by three nuclear powers here. And then the international powers have their role in this region. They have their strategic partners in this region. So there is also a fragile environment in Afghanistan and all that we are witnessing here. So Kashmir is more important than any of these. And I always say that peace in the region goes through Kashmir. If you invest in the peace in Kashmir, you will have the peace in Afghanistan. You will have peace beyond Afghanistan also. If you keep on Kashmir boiling, you can't have the peace in Afghanistan and other places. Having said that, when it comes to the international attention towards Kashmir, to be honest, and when I this time visited Geneva, I attended the Human Rights Council session. We are not expecting much from the Human Rights Council or the Office of the High Commissioner on Kashmir, because there are lots of conflicts around the globe. The conflict like we have in Gaza, the conflict like we have also Ukraine, and the conflicts, and then the great power game, great power politics, Trump's and his coming out from the international organization and all that, and stopping the funds to Human Rights Council and other ILO, and also to the WHO and others. And so we could see that there's very little room perhaps for us. But it was to our surprise also, and to the surprise of Indians also. When, though we have lobbied a lot for it, we have sent each and every information, whatever is happening in Kashmir, to the Office of the High Commissioner, to the special rapporteurs, to all those concerned there. But still, then one feels that there is a lot of international attention towards Ukraine, towards Gaza, and other conflicts. So there will be less attention towards us. But to our surprise, and also to the surprise of Indians, the High Commissioner of Human Rights, when he referred to the human rights situation in Kashmir, we were caught in surprise and happiness, but Indians had to mourn that. Then we could see the Indian response, the way the India thinks itself, that is unaccountable. Nobody can take India accountable. So the Indian response to that was very harsh. But we could see that much of High Commissioner's reference to Kashmir, that made a huge difference. We could see all the diplomats from different countries, even from the Islamic countries and non-Islamic, from European countries, approaching to us, having a dialogue on it, how it happened, what it means to us, and how we are going to forward, and what is the situation in Kashmir. Likewise, I tell you honestly that it was for the first time I could see that even the special rapporteurs of the UN Office of the High Commission, 12 of the special rapporteurs, they had the meetings with us. We talked to them, and each and everyone had their concerns about Kashmir, and on the way India is tackling Kashmir, the way the Modi regime is tackling the human rights situation. So it was, I came very satisfied from the international front that amongst these big conflicts happening currently, Kashmir, which India protests, because India has from morning to evening, you could say 24/7, Jai Shankar and his team is propagating throughout the international seen that Kashmir is calm, there is development, there is elections were held there, and so the people are happy with the abrogation of Article 3738. They have accepted each and everything, and but I could see that this mantra has not been taken well by the West. Even West is not aligned itself with the India's these claims of normalcy, the claims of elections, the claims of the development and all that. They do not align themselves with the Indian claims. And to our that the activists around the globe, they showed their concern on the Kashmir situation, and I could see for the people of Kashmir, I tell you, there's nothing. Just one thing to do. They have to continue to their struggle. They are continue to say it. We have seen ups and downs in this moment. It's not. I know this time Indian government is using all its power. They are using all its military might. They are using all its constitutional terrorism. They are using all their underhand methods, which even these methods were not used in post pre-colonial period. These methods were not used. What the Indian government is using at this, what Indian agencies are using. You have just seen yesterday Mahmoud Farooq Rahmani, a leader of Altaf Hurriyat conference, who has spent his whole life for this moment, who has written many books on it, and he has been in exile for last 35 years, and even before that he has never been at his home. So he has done nothing to this, to his family, to do anything there, to make a property that is ancestral property of his father or the grandfather, but that property has been sealed by the Indian government. And likewise, this is just a collective punishment to all those political leaders, activists, human rights defenders who talk about Kashmir. So in
So,
these
Mr. Wani,
times,
thank you. Thank you. We are just about to end this session. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time. I know you are very tired and you just returned from a very important national visit. Uh, but your thoughts, your observations, and your insight is extremely valuable for the international community and our viewers to understand the realities of what is going on in Indian occupied Kashmir. And two things which you shared are extremely important, that whoever is being engaged and wooed by India, if that individual or party does not stay representative and true and close to the Kashmiri people's sentiment, they will lose the support, the mandate, and the popularity, and the Indians will never be able to divide the freedom struggle or to weaken it politically, because the spirit of freedom is growing and deepening in every heart and soul of Kashmir with each atrocity that the Indian government carries out. And with these few words, thank you so much for joining us. And I wish you and all your family members and our brothers and sisters in Indian occupied Kashmir a very happy Eid. We know that every Kashmiri in Indian occupied Kashmir celebrates Eid with Pakistan. They do not celebrate Eid with India, and that is the ultimate evidence where their heart and soul belongs to. Thank you so much for joining us.
thank you, sir. Thank you for having.